All right, election day highlight. First of all, YouTubers won't be able to come, but trading room members and everybody else. If you're a trading room guy or gal and you're listening to this YouTube video, election night 2020, come to the coaching session link, 6 o'clock. We'll trade and have all the coverage starting about 6 Central. You know what I'm talking about if you make it past the bouncer. Anyway, the highlight of today had two things. It had market correlation, NASDAQ and the ES, and an order flow with Delta. So Dave put this together where the Delta kicks out. When it's green, there's some buyers that come in at the price. When it's red, some sell pressure. Most people that are familiar with Delta understand Delta, but understanding how to use Delta to trade is another thing. So green means there's just a lot of aggressive buyers versus aggressive sellers, okay? When you see that, it doesn't necessarily say buy it. You got to think counterintuitive. You got to think opposite conventional wisdom because everybody else thinks conventional wisdom. And if too many people buy it, it ain't going to go up. Too many people sell it, it's probably not going to go down. It's a crowded trade. Point is, if you have an area that has a lot of buying or green Delta, oftentimes below that area is where the market could pick up, in this case, to the downside. People see buying, they want to do what? They want to buy it. Fine. But if it doesn't go up, they turn into sellers to cover that long position. It's that selling that could break out a market to the downside. And that's when it picked up steam. And so oftentimes we'll say, hey, this market's in trouble. Be careful if you're long. They could get short if it gets below. In this case, it was like 37.5. All right. So you know where it comes out. You know where that level is. It's also defining the bottom of the box, but it doesn't always. And what you get is people who bought it, people who are long, get nervous. When they get nervous, they start to chase. And longs that are nervous chase with sell orders. Now, we also had something else that came and lined up with this at the time, short side bias, and it's our friend the NASDAQ. What do you mean, Anthony? Well, before this break in here, you had this nice box form. What's the bottom of this box? Look at all these rotations here. You don't think as it starts to chisel through it, people who are long in this area aren't saying, holy, you know what? And starting to look like, instead of having the small eyes, their eyes get real big. Instead of a smile, they start to look like this. And pretty soon they look like this as it comes all the way down. Then a half an hour later, we rally 2%. That's why we were able to rally 2%, because it shakes out the weak longs that look like this guy. Now, to be a strong long doesn't mean you're long from here and that you just hold and take all that pain and then let it rally the rest of the morning. No, that's not trading. You got to pick good spots. And so you're on the other side of a shakeout. You're going to be a week long and a week short from time to time or often, but you're not long still from here when it's all the way down here. You got to get out of that habit, if that's a habit. You got to know where you're wrong sooner. So you line up this. The NASDAQ had a chance of a breakout and sell stops to perpetuate a downside call. And then you had below buy Delta, usually is bearish, and the ES breaking out. And we talked about going into this morning, it opened up pretty damn strong. Could be a shakeout of longs before it re-rallied. Too many people are long. Too many people are set up to say, hey, look, we rallied a whole percent. I'm going to buy it. They buy it right before the open. They buy it after the open. And then they wear it all the way down to what turned out to be the VWAP here. And then they were off to the races. Have a safe night. Stay healthy. We'll see everybody at the next highlight.